There's a kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. It comes from smiling when you don't feel like smiling, from saying yes when every part of you is screaming no, from being everywhere for everyone, and slowly disappearing from yourself. Most people live their entire lives like this, but one day someone stopped, and everything changed. There was once a man named Elias. He lived in a quiet town resting between mountains and wind. Nothing about his life stood out. He had a job, a small house, familiar faces who greeted him every day. People liked him because Elias was easy. Easy to agree, easy to rely on, easy to shape. He laughed when others laughed. He stayed when others stayed. He agreed, even when he didn't. And for a long time, he believed that was what it meant to be a good person. If you had looked closely, you would have seen something strange. Elias was like a glass of water placed in every room, slowly being poured out for everyone else. Until one day, there was barely anything left inside. One autumn afternoon, a traveling merchant came through town, old, quiet, observant. While working beside Elias, he watched him carefully. The way he nodded too quickly, agreed too easily, smiled just a second too long. And before leaving, the merchant asked him one simple question. "What do you actually want?" Elias laughed. "I'm fine," he said. "I don't need anything." The merchant nodded gently. "That," he said, "is what worries me." And then he left. That night, Elias sat alone outside his house. The world was quiet, but his mind wasn't. "What do you actually want?" The question echoed, again and again. He searched for an answer, but found nothing. Not a single moment that belonged purely to him. And for the first time in his life, Elias realized something terrifying. He did not know himself, so he began quietly. Not with big decisions, but small ones, almost invisible. One day someone shared an opinion. Normally Elias would agree, but this time he paused and said softly, "I see it differently." Silence. His heart raced, but nothing broke. Instead, something opened. Another day, he left a gathering early. No excuse, no apology, just left. He stopped filling silence with words he didn't mean, stopped offering help when he was already exhausted, stopped saying yes when the truth was no. At first, people noticed. Some grew confused, some stepped back. One person even called him strange, and it hurt, because part of him still wanted to be liked. But something else was happening, slowly, quietly. Elias was filling again, like a well that had been dry for years finally touched water. The people who stayed began speaking to him differently. They listened more carefully, asked real questions, trusted his words. Not because he was agreeable, but because he was honest. One morning, the mill owner made a decision, a rule that would hurt the workers. In the past, Elias would stay silent. He would wait, avoid conflict, disappear into the room. But this time, he didn't. He spoke, not loudly, not aggressively, just clearly. "This isn't fair," he said, and explained why. The room froze. Then something unexpected happened. Another voice joined him, then another, and another. For the first time, Elias wasn't alone. Walking home that evening, he felt something unfamiliar. Lightness, not happiness, not pride, just light, like he had been carrying something his whole life, and finally put it down. Here is what most people never realize. People don't connect with perfection. They don't trust performance. They feel it, they sense it, and they step away from it. What people are drawn to is something much simpler, someone who is real. Think about the person you trust most. They don't always agree with you. They don't always say yes. They don't always make things comfortable. But you trust them because they are honest, because they are clear, because they are themselves. Elias did not become famous. He did not become rich. His life from the outside looked almost the same. But inside, everything had changed. He stopped performing and started living. And maybe that is where real life begins. Not when everything changes, but when you stop pretending to be someone you're not. If something in this story felt familiar, then maybe there is something you've been holding back. Not for the world, but from yourself. You don't have to change everything. Just start with one honest moment and see what happens.